Hi there guys, we are continuing with topic 4, looking at life in Nazi Germany. This time we're going to be looking at the Nazi youth organisations and Nazi education policies and assessing how effective they were. Adolf Hitler was not just planning to be Führer for his own lifetime. He wanted to create a Reich that would last for 1,000 years, and therefore the policies towards the young were designed to strengthen Germany and the Nazi Party. The Nazis believed young Germans should be brought up to support a strong, independent Germany, and therefore should be educated to believe in the policies of the Nazis. Hitler was aware that not all adults supported him, but he believed that the young people could be taught to support him and to secure the future of the 1,000-year Reich. Therefore, he set up a system of youth organisations and an education curriculum that would teach young people their role in life and educate and indoctrinate them to believe in the ideals and racial hatreds of the Nazi Party and Hitler himself. When Hitler became Chancellor in 1933, there were lots of youth organisations, including the Scouts and church groups and the Hitler Youth, which had been set up in 1926. It was already an established youth organisation with around 150,000 members. In 1933, the Nazis banned all youth organisations except the Hitler Youth and Catholic youth groups. Then, from 1936, membership of the Nazi youth organisations became compulsory for young people aged over 10. The Nazis believed that girls and boys were of equal importance but had different roles to play in the 1,000-year Reich. Girls should be brought up to be strong and healthy so they could have lots of healthy babies, while boys were also to be brought up strong and healthy so they could be workers and join the armed forces. So let's start by looking at the organisations for boys. Boys could join the Pimpf or Little Fellows, the youngest of the Hitler Youth groups, from the age of 6. Then, at the age of 10, they joined the Deutsche Jungvolk, and finally became full members of the Hitler Jugend or Hitler Youth at the age of 14. The primary aim of these groups was to educate young people to believe the policies of the Nazis, and many of the activities were geared towards achieving this. Baldur von Schirach was appointed as the leader of the Hitler Youth. He set out a programme which included lessons on German heroes and the evil of the Jews. Young people were taught about the leaders of the Nazi Party as if they were heroes, and they attended residential courses which focused on teaching the Nazi ideals. Members had to swear an oath of loyalty to Hitler, and members of the organisations were expected to report anyone they heard being disloyal to the Nazis, and this included their parents, friends and teachers. The other aim, you will remember, was to create a generation of strong, healthy young people to carry on the Nazi ideals into the 1,000-year Reich. To achieve this, they went on camping and hiking expeditions and took part in regional and national sporting competitions. It was also important to the Nazis that the young people be taught how to fight and work. Young men trained in map reading and coding and shooting. There were also subdivisions of the Hitler Youth, which focused on specific skills such as sailing, driving and flying. Some young men took part in harsh drills such as plunging into ice water or running in icy weather. There were also sometimes harsh punishments for mistakes or disobedience. All of this was aimed at making young men obey orders in any situation. Hitler Youth activities focused on teamwork and loyalty, but also were competitive and ruthless. This is because Hitler wanted to train a generation of soldiers who would be fiercely loyal to the Nazis, but also ruthless in war. The focus of the meetings was on the loyalty to the Nazis. Failing to attend a meeting was seen as a failure of duty and a sin against the nation. Girls could join the Jungmadel or Young Maidens from the age of 10, and then the Bund Deutscher Madel, League of German Maidens, from the age of 14. Many of the activities were similar to those of the boys. Their focus was also on the political training, including taking the oath of allegiance. They were also expected to be strong and healthy, and so had sporting and camping activities similar to those of the boys. However, they did not receive military training. The sports were also less physically tough. They did activities such as athletics and gymnastics. Instead of the military training, young women received domestic training. They learned to cook, take care of a baby, sew, make a bed, and give first aid. They were also taught about racial hygiene. These lessons were aimed at encouraging young women to choose a suitable husband, ideally an Aryan with blonde hair and blue eyes. Overall, young people were split in their opinion of the Hitler Youth groups. Some enjoyed the outdoor and sporting activities and became committed to the Nazi ideals, while others hated the activities and hated being forced to learn about the Nazi ideals which they disagreed with. Many parents also disliked the activities and teachings of the Hitler Youth because they felt it undermined their own authority with their children, because the groups taught that children's loyalty should be with the Nazis and not with their families. However, the police state ensured that most kept their objections to themselves. In addition to the youth groups, after 1933, Hitler was able to use the existing structure of schools to teach young people the Nazi beliefs. When the Nazis came to power, most schools were run by the local authorities, although a few were run by various churches. Boys and girls were educated separately in Germany as standard. So, in 1934, Bernhard Rust was appointed as education minister. He said the whole purpose of education is to create Nazis. He used changes to schools about teachers and the curriculum to achieve this. In April 1934, the Nazis passed a law giving them the power to sack any teachers they thought were anti-Nazi or who held beliefs the Nazis were suspicious of. In Prussia alone, they sacked 180 teachers. All teachers had to swear an oath of loyalty to Hitler, and it became compulsory for teachers to join the Nazi Teachers League, which ran political education courses. As a result, teachers began to follow the Nazi beliefs by teaching students to do the Nazi salute, starting and ending each lesson with Heil Hitler, and displaying the swastika and portraits of Hitler in classrooms. The Nazis also gained control of the curriculum. They introduced new subjects such as race studies, in which students were taught how to classify people by their racial group and taught not to intermarry with other races. Traditional subjects such as maths and history were also amended to focus on the goals and beliefs of the Nazis. Math problems included calculations on military equipment and spending and on the cost of supporting disabled people, while history classes taught a biased view of German history, focused on Germany as a great and powerful nation, and repeating the stab in the back myth. As with the Hitler Youth, the physical fitness of young people was of paramount importance, and the Nazis increased the amount of PE students did each week, increasing it to 1/6 of all lessons. Also similar to the Hitler Youth were the lessons girls and boys were given. Girls studied domestic science, while boys learned skills for work and the military. For 1935, all new textbooks had to be approved, and Mein Kampf became a compulsory text to be studied at school. Okay, that is everything you need to know about the Nazi policies towards the young. Don't forget to check out my website for worksheets and revision guidance, and I will see you next time.